Hello everyone, today I would like to explore how English language education functions in Indonesia. We will take closer look at how English is taught in formal and non-formal settings, the challenges we face, and how informal learning is shaping language acquisition outside the classroom. Formal English education in Indonesia follows the national curriculum. Students are introduced to English in junior high school, where they start with the basics. In high school, learning depends with grammar, reading, writing, and speaking. A genre-based approach or GBA is used to teach students through text types. In universities, English is no longer compulsory, but many offer English for specific purposes like business or tourism. Non-formal English education is offered by language schools and private institutions. Unlike formal schooling, these programs are highly flexible and personalized. Learners can study in the evenings or on weekends, and online too. They can also choose specific courses like business English or IELTS preparation. One popular example is the Kampung Inggris in Pare, which has become a national hub for immersive English learning. Here's a quick comparison. Formal education is curriculum-based and follows a fixed schedule, while non-formal education is more flexible, learner-centered, and targeted at real-life English use. Today, English is not only learned in classroom or courses. Informal learning has become a powerful force. Learners use YouTube, Duolingo, TikTok, or join English speaking groups on Telegram or Discord. These activities build practical skills and confidence in real context. Despite the growth of ELE, challenges remain. Many teachers, particularly in rural regions, lack sufficient training. Also, the national curriculum may not always match students' real-world needs. On top of that, access to quality in textbooks, multimedia, and internet is still limited in some areas. In conclusion, ELE in Indonesia is multifaceted. Formal, non-formal, and informal learning all have their strengths. To improve, we need better teacher training, updated curricula, and more digital inclusion. That way, we can prepare learners for a global future. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi guys, my name is Adinal Hari. I'm from group 12. So I will discuss about the roles of English language atau EL school in Indonesia. Okay, number one is complement formal education with targeted instruction. Self-learning of all age and professions. Respond market needs with updated curricula, provide personalized and flexible learning. So, English language school in Indonesia play an important role in implementing formal education. While school offer basic English, EL school provide target instruction for learners with specific goals, whether it's for travel, work, or study. They serve learners of all age, from children to adults, and quickly adapt to the market by updating their curricula and method. And then the next slide is EL school as a non-formal education. So in this slide is technology integrating in EL school. So number one is use of digital tools and online platforms. And the next is self-paced learning and real-world practice. And then the last one is personal feedback and progress tracking. So technology is fully integrated into EL school. Students use digital platforms, multimedia, and mobile apps to enhance their learning. These tools support flexible and self-paced study, provide authentic material, and help teachers track progress and give personal feedback. Okay, and the next slide is service provided by EL school. So the first one is general and specialist EL course. Additionally, course in digital communication and journalism. So extra service, translation, cultural workshop, and career support. So EL School offer wide range of service. General courses focus on everyday communication, while specialist courses including business English, English for academic purpose, and exam prep. Many schools also offer creative writing, public speaking, and media focus program. Other services include translation, cultural orientation, and job interview training. So the next slide is regulation and quality assurance. So the first one is governed by Ministry of Education and Culture. The second one is licensing and operational permits, and then accreditation from BANPT and then BANPNF, and then the last one is teacher certification and CFAR curriculum standard. So EL school regulated by the Ministry of Education and Culture. They must have proper license and are subject and accreditation by national bodies like BANPT and BANPNF. Certificate teacher and alignment with CAFR ensure high quality education. Schools are encouraged to continuously improve by training teachers and updating method. And then for the conclusion is EL school meet diverse learner needs, provide lifelong learning and flexible program, use technology and maintaining high quality standard and support Indonesian education and economic growth. So here is the reference from the PowerPoint slide. I think that's all. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 12. I'm Adinda Lutfi Ashari, and I'm here with my partner.
My name is Ashabul Kahfi.
So today we'll make discussion about the topic we are choose before. Ashabul, my question is, the chapter highlights issues like teacher quality and curriculum gaps. Reflect on your own English teacher. What teaching methods help you learn most effectively? Were the obstacle, resource, rote memorization that hindered your progress?
Okay, thank you for your question. If I reflect on my experience learning English, especially in junior high school, I would say that the most helpful teacher were those who use interactive and student-centered methods. For example, I remember on one teacher in my senior high school who often use role-playing activities and real-life dialogue. She will divide the class into pairs and assign us a situation like ordering food in a restaurant or introducing ourselves in a job interview. It was a simple method, but it really pushed us to speak English out loud and help reduce our fear of making mistakes. She also sometimes brought short videos to class so we could practice listening and have discussion after watching. I learned a lot from the kind of environment because it feels more practical and connected to the real world. But sadly, the kind of teaching was not the norm. Many of my other teachers still relied heavily on textbooks and grammar exercises. We often just translated paragraphs or memorized lists of irregular verbs. It felt very mechanical and boring. So I think this was partly because of the national curriculum, which at the time focused more on reading and writing for exams, not so much on speaking and listening. One big challenge I also faced was the lack of resources. In my junior high school, for example, we didn't have a language lab or audio equipment. The teacher tried her best, but she couldn't give us enough listening practice. That really affected my confidence when I had to speak or understanding native speaker. So while the teacher's quality matters, I also learned that access to good materials and supportive infrastructure is equally important. So overall, I believe that a combination of creative methods and proper support can make a big difference of English learning, especially in helping students use the language, not just understand the rules.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah.
Okay, so the time is asking to you. So my question is, many English learning schools use apps like Quizlet, Zoom, or online platforms. Recall a time technology helped or failed your English learning. For example, did joining a WhatsApp discussion group boost your confidence, or did poor internet access disrupt your progress?
So, okay, thank you for the question. So, in my opinion, WhatsApp is one of the most useful application because it can be used communicate with anyone, whether they are near or far away. It is also very flexible because we can access WhatsApp anytime and anywhere as long as we have an internet connection. Makes it easier for me to stay connected with friends or teachers, especially when learning remotely or when I cannot meet them in person. For me personally, joining an English discussion group through WhatsApp has really helped improve my language skills. In the group, I can have discussion, share information, ask about things that I don't understand, and even correct mistakes together with my friends. The atmosphere is also more relaxed than in the classroom, so I feel more comfortable expressing my opinions and asking questions when I don't understand something. In addition, having this discussion group has boosted my confidence because I can learn and practice without the fear of being judged directly by others. I can write. I can write. I can write message in English, try to make a sentence, and if I make a mistake, I don't feel embarrassed because my friends in the group always give feedback in a kind and supportive way. Learning through WhatsApp also give me the freedom of study anytime. For example, during my free time, on my way home from school, or while relaxing at home. So I'm not limited to learning only in the classroom. Besides that, many additional material are shared through the group, such as files, videos, or an article in English. All of this help me expand my knowledge and enrich my vocabulary. However, even though WhatsApp is very helpful, it's also realized that successful learning through this app depends a lot on having a good internet connection. If the internet is stable, the learning process runs smoothly and I can effectively practice in discussion. But when the network is bad, I often miss important message, find it hard to download materials, or cannot reply message on time. Sometimes, when the group is actively discussing something, a poor connection makes it difficult for me to read all the message or follow the conversation. As a result, I feel left behind and it takes time to catch up. Even so, I still feel grateful that I can use WhatsApp as an additional learning tool. I hope that in the future I can stay active in this discussion group like this and I have a better internet connection so I can learn English more effectively and my confidence keep growing. I think that's all.
Okay, my last reflective question. Did taking an English course outside school boost your confidence? in using English in real life situation. For example, talking to foreigners, job interview. Give me a specific example.
So yes, I feel that by taking an English courses outside of school, my confidence in using English has really improved. Through of the course, I had the opportunity to practice speaking directly with the teacher and classmates in the supportive atmosphere. We often did activities like group discussion, daily conversation, or role-playing situation with native speaker. This made me more used to speaking English and less nervous when I have to use it in real life situation. For example, when I talking to foreigner or tourists. I also met many friends at the course coming from different background. We support and motivate each other to be more confident in speaking English. Having many friends at the course made me more excited to learn because the atmosphere was fun and I didn't feel like I was learning alone. I could practice conversation with them outside of class, so my speaking improved and my confidence kept growing. I think that's all.
Okay.
So I think that's it from our group. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you guys.